Hi, lovely people. Welcome to Vibe Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. Thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching us how to make this lovely organza ruffled sleeve with flare. This sleeve is very simple to make and it's very beautiful. I hope this is something you are interested in learning. Kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. Thank you. So to make this sleeve, I'll be using this fabric to achieve it. This is organza fabric, and I have 2 yards of this organza fabric, and then this is my Ankara fabric because the skirt is also the Ankara, and then this is the top. So to make this sleeve, you need to measure the armhole measurement. Okay, so you can see that it's opened. You can either measure it on fold or you measure it opened like I'm doing right now. So this is the front armhole, and then of course this is the back armhole. So what I have here, I have 25 inches. So 25 inches for both front and back. So what this means is that the organza I'll be sewing to this armhole, I'm going to multiply by 3 to achieve that gather. So I have 25 inches enough for both front and back. So I'll multiply that 25 by 3 and that will give me 75 inches. So here I have 2 yards of my fabric. So let's check. So you can see that I have, this is 37 and quarter, so that's almost my 75 inches. Remember that it's on fold, so 37 plus 37, that's 74. We're looking for 75, so that's almost the same thing. So that's it for the width of the sleeve, because we'll be gathering this. So the length of this sleeve is going to be, I'm going to make it, this sleeve is going to have a basic sleeve under. I'm going to show us how to cut it. The basic sleeve is going to be 10 inches in length. So this organza that I'm using, I'm going to make it about 17 inches in length. So here I have 17 inches from this point here. So I'm just going to mark 17 inches plus 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So that will give me 18 inches. So now I have my 18 inches. So I'm just going to cut my sleeve. So take note that this sleeve is an extravagant sleeve. So I'm just going to follow the shape that I have here. Can you see? And then at this point, I'll just begin to bring it down. So can you see? So this is what I have. So you can see, just give it a shape there because you're going to gather it. So I'm just going to cut out the length here. So you can see that this is what I'll be using for my sleeve. So I'll cut 2 of the seams by making for both left and right, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. So I've cut the second sleeve, that's the extravagant sleeve. So right now we're going to be cutting our basic sleeve, and I folded my fabric already. So the fold I have here is 12.5. When we took the measurement of the armhole, we got 25 inches. So of course that was for front and back. So I folded it into 2. Right now I have my 12.5. So here is my starting line, and then this 4.5 is the cap's height line. How did I come about the cap's height line? You divide the bust of the person by 12 plus half inch, that will give you the cap side. And then this is the length of the sleeve. The length of the sleeve is 10 inches plus my half inch allowance for joining it to the flare, and then half inch to sew it to the armhole. So that's why I have 11 inches. So the next thing now I'm going to be doing on this cap side line, I'll enter our armhole measurement. So our armhole measurement, which is 9 inches, then I'll slant it from this line, that's from the cap side line to the upper part of the sleeve, or from the starting point of the sleeve. So now I'll get the midpoint of this line, which is 5 inches. So I'll get the midpoint of this, my 5 inches up here, and also get the midpoint here. So basically 2.5 is the midpoint here and 2.5 is the midpoint here. So I'll go up by half of an inch, and then come down by half of an inch. So I'm going to be connecting this point and this point. I'll connect this and this. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll go ahead and connect it this way also. So this is just the basic sleeve. So just in case you don't know how to wrap the basic sleeve and you don't really understand this, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. I'm trying to make it fast because I've done basic sleeve on this channel. So next I'll add my sewing allowance, which is 2 inches. So here at the sleeve length, I'll add enter her round arm, that's the this about above the elbow measurement, and which is 8 inches. Half of it is 8 inches, so plus my 2 inches. So I'm just going to connect it to this point like this. So right now we have our sleeve, and this is me cutting it out already. Sleeve. So I'm going to place and get the second one, and then I'll show us how to go about the flare. So now as you can see, I've cut the second sleeve. So the next thing now we'll be doing is our flare. So here I'm going to measure the base, what I have here at the end of the sleeve. And here I have 10 inches. Remember, I added 2 inches for my sewing allowance. And take note that it's on fold. So 2 inches is my sewing allowance. So I'm going to say 10 minus 2, that will give me 8. And because it is on fold, so that's a total of 16 when it is open. So that's 16. I'm going to multiply my 16 by 3, and that's 48. So that 48, I will divide it by 6.28 to determine the radius of my flare. This is because I'll be pleating this flare at the base of the sleeve. So that is why I multiplied by 3. And that gave me 7.6. So that's the radius of the circle I'll be creating. And then the length of this flare, I want the length to be 4.5 inches. So that by the time I'm done, because this 4.5 inches is including my sewing allowance. So by the time I'm done, joining it to the upper part and using half inch to turn it, using half inch to clean up my lining or to sew my lining, that will leave me with 3.5. So right now what I need is 7.6 plus 4.5. So that's about 11 inches. So let's say that's 12 inches. So right now I need to create a fold of 12 inches, which is what I have here. You can see it's folded already. So this is 12 inches. And then I'll go ahead and fold another 12 inches this way. Can you see right now I have 12 inches? So I'll fold over this way to achieve 12 inches. So here now I have my 12 inches. So this is me going ahead to mark my 7.6. So I'm just going to mark 7.5. That's fine, to be enough to create the pleats I want. So here's my 7.5, 7.5, and then 7.5. So next I'll go down by the length of the flare. I said the length I want to achieve is 4.5, including my sewing allowances. So here we are. So I'll just go ahead and quickly connect my points. So that's that. So now I'll go ahead and cut out the radius. Next, I'll cut. So you can see this is what I have. So you can see how it is. So I'm just going to slash one of them. You can see right now as it is like this, these points are folded. So you pick one of them and slash it opened. So this is it. So I need two of this, and then I'll also cut out my lining and show us the next thing to do. So I've cut my lining and I've cut the second flare. So now the next thing we're going to be doing, because we're done with our cutting, so the next thing we're going to do is to sew the crinoline. This crinoline will give structure to this flare so that it just stands well. I'll be sewing the crinoline to the base of my sleeve. I'll use my cutting bias to close up this part. You can use your Ankara fabric to close it up, or use your cutting bias to close it up. So I'm going to come up by half of an inch, leaving my half inch sewing allowance I'll be using to join the flare. I'll come up by half of an inch and stitch my bias at this point, like this. I'll sew it all the way to the other end of the flare. Once I'm done sewing the down part, I'll sew the upper part too. This is to keep it stable. And then next, after doing that, I'll place the lining on the good side of the fabric. That's on the right side of the fabric, and sew on that half inch that I left. Take note, I'll be leaving, so I'll come and now sew on this half inch down here, round all the way to the other side. So I'll do the same thing for the second sleeve. So now for the organza, that's for the organza, I'm going to run loose stitch at the upper part of this sleeve, and also run loose stitch at the down part. But before running my loose stitch, this is what I'll do. I'll notch the center. Can you see I folded the sleeve into two? So I'm going to notch the center here. I'll notch the center here so that I don't have more gathers on the left or on the right. I want them to be even. So that is why it's important to notch up and down. So I'll also notch this, and then I'll notch my basic sleeve too at the center. But I'm going to be doing my gathers. I'll gather it to the measurement I have here at the sleeve cap. So basically this is what I have here. You can see, because we'll be stitching it to the sleeve cap here. So right now you can see when we took our measurement, initially we got 25, but you can see now because of this curve that we have here, so I'm having about 26 inches. So I'm going to gather the upper part of this sleeve, that's the sleeve cap of the organza, to the measurement I have here, which is 26. And I'll also gather the down part to the measurement I have here. So that's why you can see I have my notch here and here. So you want to make sure that the gathers you have on this side, is equal to what you have on this side. So I'll go and do that and come back and show us. So right now I've gathered my organza and I've sewn it to the sleeve cap, as you can see. And I also went ahead to gather it down and I sewed it to the hem of the sleeve. I also went ahead to create my smoky effect, that's the ruffled effect. Can you see? So this is what it looks like. I was able to achieve this effect because the organza is longer than the being fabric, so that's why I have this ruffled or smoky effect you see on the sleeve. So I'm going to be using the second sleeve to show us what we have. So I'm just going to take off my pins and then show us. So can you see, ordinarily this is how the sleeve looks, because our basic sleeve was just 10 inches while the organza was about 17 inches. So you can see, so for me to now achieve this smoky or ruffled effect, so I'm going to just create some tags. So at the back of this ruffled, at the back of the sleeve I have already ruffled, I have about 6 tags. So that's how I was able to achieve that effect. So right now I'm going to be showing us how to pick to achieve the effect. So first I'm just going to get the middle, because I have 6 tags at the back of the sleeve. That's for the sleeve I have already done the ruffles. So I want to make sure to have 3 on the left and 3 on the right. So you just want to pick randomly. Can you see? Can you see how I'm just picking my organza sleeve? Just watch what I'm doing carefully. You will understand it. So once I pick it, I'll pin it down to the basic sleeve. Can you see? So I've tacked that point down. So now for the next part, I'm just still going to fold it like this. Just pick it and then tack it down to the basic sleeve. So this is just a very simple way of creating your tags. So I've done the other side. So that's how I just achieved them. So I'm just going to do this side also and tack it down. So the next thing now you need your needle and thread to be able to tack it down to the basic sleeve. So you need your needle and thread to tack it down so that it doesn't remove. So here now I have my needle and thread. You want to make sure to knot the end of the thread, and then I will insert it from the wrong side, that's from the basic sleeve, exactly where I pinned it down. So you can see what I'm doing. My needle is coming out from where the pin is. So once I've held that point, now you can now remove your office pin. Just like I've taken off my office pin. So I'm just going to return my needle again to the back like this, then tack it. So you can just do once, but I like to always be on the safe side. So I'm just going to bring it out again. You just want to make sure that you're bringing it out at the same spot where you entered it from, or really close to it, so that it comes out very neat. So now obviously this is the second, and then I'll go ahead and tack it and tie it at the back. You want to make sure to knot it very well. So can you see? So this is me knotting one, two, three, and four. So and then I'll bring it out. You want to tie it again. So like I said, it's better to be on the safe side. I'm just going to knot one more time. This is just to secure it. Then I'll go ahead and cut out my thread. So you can see what I have at that point. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other sides where I have my pins. And then that's that for the basic sleeve. So I'll do that off camera. So now this is our flare. After sewing my crinoline to the base of the sleeve, I've gone ahead to join the fabric to the lining, and this is what I have. One side is opened. So can you see? So I'm just opening up the flare, and I'm placing lining to lining, fabric to fabric. So you want to make sure to shift the seam allowance to the lining part, that's to the side that has the crinoline. I'm just going to pin it at that point. Then I'll take to my sewing machine and sew on that half inch I have there. This is to achieve a very neat effect. Instead of just stitching it at the side and they are seeing your seam allowance, I'm trying to conceal my seam allowance because this flare is very short. So I'm using the one I've done already to show us. Can you see that you can't see where my flare was joined, but it's at this point. This is because I want it to be neatly covered so that even if the flare is hanging and revealing what is under, you will not see the joining allowance. I hope that is clear. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine, stitch them together at the sides there, and then I'll go ahead and top stitch both lining and fabric together, and then show us how to create the pleats on the sleeve. So here is the lining for the basic sleeve. After I'm done tacking my ruffles, I'm going to place my basic sleeve underneath it so that you don't even see any thread lines and all that. This is just to make my work very neat. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to shape the blouse. I'm going to be attaching the sleeve and attach the sleeves to the blouse, shape it close, and then show us how to attach the flare to the sleeve. So and this is what I have right now. After shaping my sleeve and attaching it to the blouse or sewing it to the blouse, now you can see that I've gone ahead to pleat my flare, the other side of the flare. So I'm going to be using this side to show us how to pleat this flare. So you want to make sure that you get the midpoint of your flare. And then here you can see that the side seam of my flare is aligning with the side seam of the sleeve. That's where I joined my flare together and closed it up. Can you see? It's aligning with the side seam of my sleeve. So I want to get the midpoint of this sleeve, which is here, and I've notched it already. And then you also want to get the midpoint of your flare so that your pleats are going to be even. You don't want to have more pleats on the left and less on the right or anything, or vice versa. You just want to make sure that the pleats you have on the left is the same thing as what you will have on the right. So let's go ahead and pleat it so that we can see what we have. So now that I've gotten to this side, so you can see the plait with the notch. So I must make sure that it aligns, and then I'll pleat the other towards that side. So as you can see, I've pleated this side and I have one, two, three, four pleats. So you see now I'm at the middle here. I'm going to pleat this one. You can see that this pleat is facing backwards this way. So I'll make sure that this one too is facing backwards this way. You don't want to do it in a way that they will not they will not be even. Okay. So this is what I want to have. can you see? This is what I have after pleating. So you see why it is very necessary to close up this side. Imagine that I closed up my flare at this side and it's sticking out. It won't be neat because this flare is really short. So we want to achieve this at the sleeve. Can you see? So that's the essence of closing it up this side. So I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine, stitch both of them, and come back and show us what we have.
So here we are. This is what our sleeve looks like. It came out really beautiful after stitching our flare to the hem of the sleeve. The sleeve is giving everything it should give. I also made a detailed video tutorial on how to achieve this blouse with half mandarin collar. If you would like to see a video on how to cut and sew this blouse, please indicate in the comment section. So right now we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please share this video, like, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and also put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. Thank you for watching. Bye.